Curious how a full day looks for an Uber Eats driver? It's time to address your curiosity. Sup everyone? I'm gonna apologize ahead of time if you hear some thumping in the background. It's raining, not much I can do about that, but this is Elijah with the Rideshare Guy, and in this video we'll be taking a look at what does a full day look like for an Uber Eats driver. You'll get to see everything I did yesterday, since I did Uber Eats the whole day yesterday. We'll see if I hit my goal of hitting $100, and I'll also be dropping some tips about how I'm able to stay between $11 and $18 an hour doing just Uber Eats all day. So let's get into it. And here we are starting the day out. So before I do anything, I always check the promotions that's going on, because that's going to determine pretty much where I start as far as a hotspot goes, and sometimes even what city I go to. See, there are some cities that offer more obstacles than others. You got suburbs that just have houses and apartment complexes, and you have like big cities like in my market, Dallas for instance. Yeah, skyscrapers, apartment buildings, those kind of things. So I'm always looking for the boosts and the quests to determine where I go, because if somewhere which I deem to have all those obstacles I just mentioned doesn't have a boost, I usually try to avoid that area, because the deliveries take a lot longer than normal. You know, you got deliver the food to the 13th floor, or just things like that. So these are things to take in consideration. But once I determine where I'm gonna go based on those promotions, then that's where I go. Now sometimes there might not be any promotions. If there aren't any promotions, I take that into account when deciding exactly where I'm gonna go. So it's about 10ish right now, so I'm gonna head to the place I want to start at, because I'll be starting at 11 o'clock, because that's around when the lunch hour starts, and all those people that have been at work, they're famished at this point, so they get on Uber Eats to start ordering. So that's a great time to start my day. So without further ado, let's head to that hotspot. So I've gotten my first order. As you can see, it's the Fuzzy's taco shop that's right behind me, so let's go ahead in and grab the food. All right, I've got the food, heading back to the car. Y'all probably noticed that they wanted me to sign for the food. That's becoming more and more common, so expect that. But one thing you don't want to do, I don't ever sign for the food unless the food is ready. Because let's say the food isn't ready and I don't want to wait. You sign for it, well, it kind of complicates things. So just don't, if they want you to sign, ask if it's ready. And if it's not ready, just let them know you'll sign when you're getting the food, and they'll respect that. Okay, we are back in the car. Got the food. Yes, it was that simple. It's supposed to be that simple. Anything more complicated, that's a problem. Let's head to the drop off. All right, that was pretty successful. I've gotten 2 orders for my next restaurant, and this is an example of areas of my market that I don't deem to be completely worth it based on the factors I mentioned earlier. But I got the 2 orders, and one of them had a $2 surge attached to it, and the other one was $11 guaranteed. So given those situations, yeah, I'm going to deal with some of that stuff that I had mentioned before. So let's go ahead and do this. It's also important to mention, since I have 2 orders, I don't ever want to get them confused, so I always carry this a Sharpie so I can mark them with the names. Let's head to the drop-off. All right, it's finally slowed down somewhat. So I've been on online for about 2 hours. So far I'm at $33, which averages out to a little over $15 an hour so far. So definitely not a bad start. But since I finally have slowed down, I can talk about how is that even possible. So it is a balance between, a ping selecting you, getting dispatched, etc., and also personal skill level. I mean, you always want to pick your hotspots, and a lot of people think that being in a conglomeration of restaurants is a hotspot. That's actually a misconception. The way the Uber Eats algorithm works, it's like a reverse sonar wave. So the further you are, think of it like this, and then at recent dispatches, except further. So you do better to pick like a series of restaurants and get like right in between them. That way you can get selected for the algorithm. I know it's kind of weird. I don't know why they set it up that way, but that's how you position yourself in the best position to get pings. And when considering hotspots, think about lunchtime spots, Subways, something that has a lunchtime feel, delis, and really pick your hotspots based on that. If you're unsure about the restaurants in your area, download the Ubereats customer app and just take a look around at what's on the menu, so to speak. In most cases, I tend to leave the app on once I finish the delivery. I'll wait like a minute or two, then head back to my hotspot. Unless it takes me somewhere I don't want to go, then I'll turn the app off until I get back to my hotspot. But that's how I stay getting the quality of pings and requests that keep you busy and also allow you to, I try and stay in the range of between $11 and $18 an hour. So it's been a few minutes, so I'm about to go ahead and head back to the hotspot because no activity is here. Now, I'm going to keep going. Usually between 2 and 4, this period is very slow because it's between lunch and dinner. People work have been fed, but not too many people are at home. That's just going to casually order. So it may just drop off between 2 and 4. I'll keep going if there is activity, but if I haven't got anything like 15 minutes, I'm gonna put the brakes and go get something to eat. So let's see what happens. As expected, it slowed down, wasn't getting any pings, so this is a great time to get something to eat, so that's what I'm about to do. It's been enough time from the lunch rush to go ahead and see what I officially made. Some tips could come through later, but we're just gonna go ahead and do the numbers. So I made $46.47. As you can see, I was online for 2 hours, and we're not even gonna do that. We're just gonna round that up to 3 hours. So we're gonna divide that by 3. And that means I made $15.49 per hour for the lunch rush. Definitely not half bad. Very much looking forward to the dinner rush. Let's see what we get from here. All right, it's about 4:52. I'm waiting for the dinner rush to come around. I'm still online, but it is slow. That's expected. I got one order, between 4 and 5 o'clock. One thing to keep in mind about a dinner rush, when picking your hotspots, what seem like dinner style restaurants, pretty much anything that's not a lunch restaurant is going to count here. So just keep that in mind when setting up your hotspots to go to. Okay, after a much annoyed hiatus, we're back in the game. I just got a request, so let's head over there. As you can see, we got a different setup for the restaurant. It's more of an outside stationary kind of thing. That's it behind me. So let's go pick up the order. Ubereats for Derek.
Yeah, Derek.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just picked up the food, heading back to the car. I haven't had to wait the entire day, but the maximum amount of time I'll wait at a restaurant is 5 minutes, and that's only if I'm a regular there. I always ask them, what is the not the ETA, how long it'll be before it's ready. If it's over 5 minutes or they're lagging on the answer, a lot of times I'll just leave. You get paid for wait time, but it's a very minimum, so it may be worth better just to go back and get back into deliveries, so you can still slide in like 3 deliveries at a time. All right, let's go drop this off. Just picked up another delivery. Since it's the second order in the dinner rush, I thought I would just share this. Since it's a dinner rush, you should have the expectation of dealing with apartments, apartment buildings, houses, different from the lunch rush. So take those things in consideration when working between 5 and 10 p.m. because that's mainly what you'll be dealing with when it comes to drop-offs. Just dropped that delivery off. It was actually in an apartment building, but they wanted me to leave it at the front desk. But on that note, you should always check. Let's say if they wanted me to bring it up to the room. Apartment building that has a concierge, I always ask the customer, does the concierge bring food up? And if so, can I leave it with them? Just one of those subtle things that reduces the amount of time I stay on a delivery, so I can move on to the next one quickly, and the concierge can bring them their food. Just arrived at my, I think it's 4th restaurant. I might have lost count, but currently I'm at about $82. What time is it? It's about 7:35, so far so good. Pretty close to the goal. All right, let's go get this food. Usually partway during the dinner shift, I will start to get a little hungry. Now, while I'm delivering people's dinner, I'm not gonna have dinner. I just tough it out till the end of the shift at 10 o'clock. But I always have some kind of snack that I can munch on. So for today, it's just some granola I picked up from Trader Joe's. I'll just be munching on it anytime I get hungry. I'm not necessarily hungry right now, but it's something you want to take in consideration because you don't want to be out here just hungry. Have a snack, some sort of snack that you can munch on to get you through the rest of the day. Wow. I haven't seen a restaurant do this before. Tape the straw to the beverage. I kind of like it. Okay, so things have slowed down since it's about 9:14. That's to be expected. But I've only gotten one apartment today, which is actually shocking within itself based on where I picked. And if I see someone's in an apartment complex, you see the apartment number in the notes section, or if you zoom in on the map and you can just tell it's an apartment complex, I always message the customer, and I have these messages saved in my phone. But I ask them first I say, hi, I'm Elijah, I'm the Ubereats driver. And I ask them for the name of the apartments, the gate code, and the apartment number if it's missing. And usually by the time I get there, they'll text that information, whatever information is lacking, and I can just go from there. That way I'm not taking too much time on one delivery. So it's slightly past 9 o'clock, and I'm going to go ahead and call it quits because there's just not enough activity to justify going from 9 to 10 or finishing out that dinner rush. And I've been sitting there for like 15 minutes, so time to call it quits. So what did I make during the dinner rush? Now, since I'm not doing 9 to 10, I'm not going to count that. So dinner rush was for 4 hours instead of 5. So minusing the lunch rush and the activity I did between 4 and 5. So you divide that by the hours I did it, which was 4. That gets you slightly over $13. Not as good as the lunch rush, but it actually is kind of fitting given the time in the week it is. So I specifically picked $100 as my goal because that range I gave y'all, $11 to $18, is kind of in line with the cycle of deliveries during the week. Like Monday and Tuesday is very dry. Beginning of the week, people don't order as much. Usually the range is much closer to $11 versus Wednesday and Thursday, it starts to pick up a little. Then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's like, high, it's a lot. Like a goal on that day would be like 150 or so. But for Thursday, $100 seemed pretty much in that range of between like $13 and $15 an hour. So I select that, so I put my expectation on there, so I don't, I'm not hitting like a certain amount. Now that doesn't mean I never hit it higher on Thursdays. Oftentimes I do. I just put the expectation there based on the cycles that the week goes through. That also plays a role in why I picked the area I picked. I mean, it had apartment buildings and like apartment complexes. You had to deal with stuff like that, but it also has a lot of guarantee orders from Ubereats floating around and occasional surge, so they kind of balance each other out. There weren't any promotions as far as boosts and quests this time around, but you always want to check those daily because I don't know why they always just change sporadically. It can change daily or weekly, so I always be prepared and I'm always checking. So with that being said, that covers my day as a Ubereats driver. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below or shoot us an email. We publish new videos every single day, so be sure to subscribe if you're new. And if you found value in this video, like is greatly appreciated. It's Elijah for the Rideshare Guy, signing off.